Beneath the dense emerald canopy of Mexico's Palenque National Park, a centuries-old enigma lay dormant, hidden within the crumbling remnants of the once mighty Maya civilization. In 1994, a seemingly insignificant crack in a stone stairway caught the eye of a young archaeologist during routine maintenance work. That narrow fissure was more than just a breach in ancient stonework. It was a gateway to one of the most astonishing archaeological discoveries of the century: the tomb of the Red Queen, the final resting place of a mysterious Maya noblewoman. The Maya, known for their advanced astronomical knowledge, architectural brilliance, and highly stratified society, also held a profound reverence for death and its sacred rituals. In Palenque, once a thriving hub of Maya power and culture, the dead, especially those of noble birth, were entombed with elaborate ceremony. Their graves became vaults, not only of treasure, but of unresolved mysteries. As Jimenez's flashlight pierced the still air of the narrow corridor, an ancient tension seemed to hang in the darkness, whispers of forgotten secrets suspended in time. The passage revealed by the crack led into a labyrinth of stone, culminating in a sequence of 3 chambers. 2 of them stood silent, bearing witness to rituals lost to memory. But it was the 3rd chamber that held the heart of the discovery. After painstaking work to breach the sealed threshold, Jimenez and her team were met with a scene of wonder: a perfectly preserved tomb, almost untouched by the march of time. At the center loomed a massive stone sarcophagus, nearly 8 feet long. The effort to open it stretched over 14 grueling hours, and inside lay the figure who had waited silently through the centuries, a noblewoman, adorned with jade and pearls, flanked by exquisite obsidian blades. Her resting place was drenched in vivid red, the result of ground cinnabar dusted over every surface. It was this striking hue that earned her the name, the Red Queen. Nearby, the remains of 2 sacrificed attendants, one a woman in her early 30s, the other a boy of around 11, added layers of solemnity and intrigue. The Red Queen, estimated to have been around 60 at the time of her death, was undoubtedly a figure of great status, likely from the ruling Maya elite of this ancient city. And yet, her true identity remains veiled in uncertainty. Was she a queen? A consort? A powerful high priestess? Was she linked by blood to the royal Maya lineage? That puzzle, etched into the fabric of history, continues to spark debate and scholarly pursuit to this day. Located in the Peloponnese region of southern Greece, the ancient city of Pavlopetri now lies about 4 meters beneath the sea. It is considered one of the oldest known underwater cities in the world, estimated to be nearly 5,000 years old, dating from around 2800 to 2000 BC. Rising sea levels, combined with 3 to 4 major earthquakes, caused Pavlopetri to sink beneath the waves around 1000 BC. Some believe that the city may have even inspired the legendary tale of Atlantis, the fabled lost city of myth. Pavlopetri was first discovered in 1967 by oceanographer Nicholas Fleming and was later surveyed by a team of archaeologists from the University of Cambridge. Their findings revealed a remarkably well-planned city, complete with straight roads, 2-story houses with gardens, and an incredibly complex water management system. In 2009, the University of Nottingham launched a 5-year underwater archaeological project using robotics, advanced graphics technology, and 3D sonar mapping to chart the entire site beneath the seabed. These efforts yielded results beyond expectations. Thousands of ancient artifacts were uncovered, offering invaluable insights into daily life in ancient Pavlopetri. Notably, archaeologists discovered ceramics dating back to the end of the Stone Age, suggesting that the city existed during the same era as the famous Greek epic, the Iliad. They also uncovered a monumental structure resembling a megaron, indicating that members of the elite may have once lived there. Historians believe Pavlopetri served as a bustling center of trade for both the Minoan and Mycenaean civilizations. However, what remains of Pavlopetri today faces numerous threats. Pollution, wave erosion, tourism, and a lack of proper protection all pose serious risks to the ancient ruins. To this day, less than 1% of the ocean floor has been explored, and Pavlopetri continues to serve as a powerful source of inspiration for the enduring modern myth of Atlantis. The tomb of Qin Shi Huang. This is the tomb of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of the Qin dynasty, a ruler so powerful that his final resting place became an architectural marvel designed to replicate an entire city. Guarded by the legendary terracotta army, this tomb has fascinated historians and explorers for centuries, yet beneath its surface lies a story steeped in irony and enigma. The Qin dynasty, marking the dawn of imperial China around 220 BCE, was a turning point in history that unified the country under a singular, formidable regime. Emperor Qin Shi Huang, revered almost as a divine figure, commissioned a burial complex of unprecedented scale, a project that took 38 years to complete. The tomb's layout was conceived as a miniature version of Xianyang, the capital at the time, symbolizing his unyielding dominion, even in death. The mausoleum itself is a wonder, its sprawling necropolis and awe-inspiring terracotta army, each soldier uniquely crafted, stand eternal guard over their emperor. But beneath these visible marvels lies a tale laced with mystery and bitter irony. Chinese historian Sima Qian, writing roughly a century after Qin Shi Huang's reign, documented the tomb's construction and revealed that mercury was used to represent the rivers and seas of the emperor's empire. Ironically, this very element revered for its mystical properties is believed to have caused the emperor's death, as he consumed mercury-infused elixirs in his desperate pursuit of immortality. Sima Qian's writings also unveil chilling details about the tomb's lethal defenses traps designed to thwart would-be tomb robbers. Translated accounts speak of crossbows preloaded to fire and other concealed dangers, blending historical plausibility with legendary embellishment. These haunting features have kept speculation about the tomb alive for generations. Despite the allure of its secrets, most of the tomb remains unexcavated. Modern archaeologists proceed with great caution, not only due to the potential hazards, but also because current technology may be insufficient to preserve the fragile and invaluable artifacts hidden within. As a result, the tomb of Qin Shi Huang is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, studied primarily from the surface and protected from invasive exploration. As we reflect on the colossal effort behind the terracotta army and the tomb's intricate defenses, one cannot help but wonder, what other secrets lie sealed within this ancient marvel? The hidden chambers of the mausoleum may yet conceal untold treasures and forgotten stories of ancient China, a captivating mystery still waiting for the day it can be safely and fully revealed. The Sutton Hoo burial ship. In the shadows of World War II, on the verdant fields owned by Edith Pretty, stood two seemingly unremarkable mounds. Pretty, captivated by local folklore and ancient legends, granted permission to Basil Brown, a self-taught local archaeologist, to excavate the site. What he uncovered in 1938 would astonish the world. Brown's spade struck the ghostly remains of a great ship. Its wooden frame had long since decayed, leaving only a faint impression in the sandy soil. But this was no ordinary vessel. It was a royal burial ship, nearly 90 feet in length, serving as the final resting place of an Anglo-Saxon king. Within the hull of the ship lay a treasure trove of such exquisite craftsmanship and diversity that it challenged everything historians thought they knew about the so-called Dark Ages. Among the artifacts was a delicately shaped lyre, evoking the soft strains of music that once echoed through a mead hall, a sword and shield, emblems of power and protection, and a Byzantine silver dish, evidence of a world connected through trade and diplomacy far beyond England's shores. Amid these treasures, the Sutton Hoo purse lid stood out in particular. Modern historians have hailed it as one of the most remarkable creations of the early medieval period. Its intricate gold inlays and finely wrought details revealed a society steeped in artistry and cultural sophistication. The discovery of the ship, along with two Anglo-Saxon cemeteries dating back to the 6th century, opened a window into a period once dismissed as a historical void. Today, scholars believe that the individual buried within the ship was of immense importance. Radwald, King of East Anglia, is the leading candidate for this magnificent tomb. The implications of the Sutton Hoo burial ship are profound. It confirmed that Anglo-Saxon activity in Britain during this era was vibrant and culturally rich. Basil Brown's discovery has fundamentally reshaped how historians view early medieval Europe. Meteoric Kris, the legendary heritage of Indonesia. Indonesia's legendary heritage is woven into the intricate patterns of the kris, a traditional sword whose blade ripples like a serpent. Revered for its ability to pierce swiftly and precisely, this weapon is also believed to be infused with a mystical power, one that depends on the skill of its smith, the materials chosen, and even the very status of its wielder. Countless legends surround the mysterious kris, with some whispering that, if mistreated, the blade can vanish without a trace. Yet for those truly in the know, the secret to crafting these powerful swords lies far beyond our world. According to the legend of a family whose kris forging legacy stretches back 18 generations, the supreme kris must be forged from meteoric iron, sourced from a colossal meteorite that fell near the ancient Prambanan temple in the 18th century. Once in possession of this cosmic metal, master craftsmen would begin the painstaking process of transforming it into blades of otherworldly beauty and mysterious power. The high nickel content of meteoric iron creates swirling, hypnotic patterns on the blade's surface, while the kris's signature curves are shaped with seemingly impossible precision. It is said that a select handful of master artisans still work with the last fragments of this ancient meteorite, cooling molten iron with their tongues and molding it with their bare hands. Forging a kris from meteoric iron is not a task for the faint of heart. The metal must be meticulously folded dozens, sometimes even hundreds, of times, each fold demanding absolute focus and flawless skill. This arduous process can take years, but the result is a masterpiece of weaponry, one that embodies an unparalleled union of beauty and supernatural power. What a man discovered in Egypt shocked the whole world. Let's begin with the story of temperature. Every time archaeological technology takes a leap forward, someone inevitably returns to the pyramids to see if the latest innovation will unlock any new breakthroughs. In 2015, a team of international scientists and architects conducted a joint survey of the Giza pyramid complex and uncovered some deep-seated thermal anomalies within these ancient structures. They recorded higher than expected temperatures in 3 adjacent stones, located in an area that is completely inaccessible at the very bottom of the Great Pyramid. Although various explanations have been put forward, such as the possibility of hidden voids, differences in building materials, or internal air currents, no one can say for certain what the true cause is. Similar anomalies were also discovered in the upper half of the Great Pyramid. This finding came about thanks to the research team's use of infrared thermography to scan the pyramids as they absorbed heat at sunrise, and then again as the limestone cooled during sunset. It's almost a certainty that there are still rooms and secret chambers inside the pyramids that we have yet to reach. But this raises a compelling question. Why would those chambers be warmer than the rest of the structure? Unfortunately, it looks like we may have to wait several more years before we have any real answers. There's a question that comes up time and again when people study the great works of art and monumental structures of ancient Egypt. How did the ancients manage to cut through those massive, thick blocks of stone with an ease that seems almost equivalent to how we slice through butter today? Even the world's largest modern construction companies would have a hard time recreating Egypt's magnificent monuments, yet we're asked to believe that the ancient Egyptians did it all, using nothing but basic hand tools. That's a pretty tough pill to swallow. Maybe they once possessed some kind of incredibly powerful saws. The clearest evidence for this theory lies in the granite sarcophagus inside the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The cut marks on the bottom of the sarcophagus could only have been made by a saw, and not just any saw, but one of enormous size. We can't be sure exactly what kind of saw teeth they used, but it's hard to dispute the evidence left behind by the saw itself. So what happened to the ancient Egyptians' stone-cutting technology, and why haven't we ever found a single modern trace of it? If we wanted to, we could make an entire video just about the mysteries swirling around the Great Pyramid of Giza. This structure has stood for more than 4,500 years, and to this day, we still don't truly understand how it was built. That fact alone is enough to earn it a spot on the list of history's greatest enigmas. But there's another mystery that only came to light in 2017. Using advanced scanning technology, archaeologists identified 2 large voids hidden within the pyramid structure, and no one knows for sure what's inside them. They might be nothing more than service tunnels used during construction, or they could be undiscovered tombs waiting in the darkness. One of the voids stretches a full 100 feet and appears to be shaped similarly to the Grand Gallery that lies directly beneath it. It's possible that this space was deliberately designed to reduce the weight of the stone above the Grand Gallery and prevent a catastrophic collapse, but it would be incredible to know for certain. These voids don't seem to have any direct passageways leading into them, which means accessing them won't be easy. Right now, scientists are working on designing new tunneling robots to take on the job. We've just described the Great Pyramid of Giza as being 4,500 years old, but are we really certain about that? Mainstream historians claim that the pyramids of Giza were built over an 85-year period, from 2589 to 2504 BCE, but that might not be entirely accurate. This estimate is based on radiocarbon dating tests conducted on samples taken from inside and around the pyramids back in 1984. At that time, our understanding of radiocarbon dating techniques wasn't as advanced as it is today. Follow-up tests carried out in 1994 and 1995 suggested that the original 1984 estimate could be off by more than 2 centuries, meaning the pyramids might actually be 200 years younger than previously thought. This is significant because it would mean that the pyramid of Senusret II was built about a century after he died. There's another issue as well. Radiocarbon dating results are often based on wood samples, and the ancient Egyptians were known to reuse wood many times. The wood samples taken from in and around the pyramids might have already been quite old before they were ever used in the construction. History books will still tell you that 4,500 years is about as close as we can get to the true age of the pyramids, but in reality, the number might be much closer to 4,000 years. We've already discussed the idea that there are voids and anomalies inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. Here's the clearest evidence yet that those voids might actually be secret chambers. In September 2020, explorers identified 2 hidden doors inside the pyramid. They're located at the end of 2 narrow tunnels that extend from the north and south walls of the Queen's Chamber, coming to a halt at stone blocks before they reach the outer walls. The space inside these tunnels is far too tight for a human to explore. But a robot called WebWatt was sent in and managed to take photos of a small stone door fitted with 2 copper handles. That same robot also captured images of faint red hieroglyphs painted on the walls. These markings are pretty rough, almost like graffiti, so it's possible they're just guide marks left behind by the stonemasons during construction. These shafts couldn't have been intended as ventilation ducts because they don't open to the outside of the pyramid, and they're much too small for a person to fit through. Still, the presence of a door suggests that there's something worth protecting behind it. So, what could it be? There's a theory you've probably heard countless times before. In fact, it's been repeated so often that many people accept it as fact, even though the actual evidence is pretty thin. Back in the 1980s, the Egyptologist Robert Bauval claimed that the 3 pyramids at Giza were perfectly aligned with the 3 stars that make up Orion's belt in the night sky. He reinforced this argument in his 1995 book, The Orion Mystery, which went on to become a New York Times bestseller and firmly planted the idea in the public's imagination. The problem is, the whole concept is a bit misleading. You can't actually get the pyramids to line up with Orion's belt unless you invert one or the other. If the ancient Egyptians really wanted to reflect the stars' positions, you'd expect them to have arranged the pyramids in a way that didn't require such an inversion. Secondly, the 3 pyramids weren't built at the same time. There's no evidence to suggest that the 3rd pyramid was even planned when the first was under construction. And third, the positions of stars in the sky change over thousands of years. The stars of Orion's belt today don't look the same as they would have 4,500 years ago. As impressive as the pyramids are today, they were even more dazzling when they were first completed. After more than 4,000 years exposed to the elements, their outer surfaces have become rough and weathered. But when they were newly built, the pyramids boasted an exterior shell so polished and radiant that they seemed almost to be made of glass. According to Egyptologist Jacqueline Williamson of Harvard University, the outer casing stones of the pyramids were meticulously polished using abrasive materials like fine sand, sandstone, and even brick to create an incredibly smooth finish. At midday, when the sun was at its highest, the pyramids would have glistened and sparkled as if they were glowing. Williamson is absolutely convinced by her findings, arguing that the precision and effort involved in polishing the stones proves the craftsmanship of the pyramid builders far exceeded anything we might have previously imagined. As for the fate of those gleaming outer layers, they gradually faded and crumbled away over time. However, some of the casing stones were stripped off centuries ago and repurposed for other construction projects, accelerating their decline even further. We know from Egyptian historical records that the Benben stone was once believed to possess supernatural powers. It was originally housed in the Temple of Ra at Heliopolis and was the very first place to greet the morning sun's rays each day. The original stone has long been lost to history, but it inspired the design of many statues and sculptures that still exist in Egypt today, including the capstones that once adorned the famous pyramids. The stone is thought to symbolize the phoenix, an important creature in Egyptian mythology because of its power to conquer death and be reborn. Some historians believe that Benben represents the seed of the phoenix, since in the language used at the time the Temple of Ra was built thousands of years ago, the word carried a meaning close to fertilization. According to one legend, Benben was the mound that rose from the chaotic waters of Nun when the great god Atum created the world. If you've ever heard references to the Stone of Destiny in folklore, those stories are actually about this mystical stone. Don't forget to check out the other fascinating videos showing up on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.